Did you ever have a pet growing up that was suffering, so your parents ended up putting it down? Because really, your pet had little to no quality of life left. According to the Nebraska Revised Statutes, Section 28-307, in the state of Nebraska, if you actively participate in euthanization of another individual or aid that person's suicide in any way, the state of Nebraska will charge you with a Class 4 felony, which could lead you with up to 5 years in prison or a fine of $10,000. Assisted suicide should be legalized in Nebraska so that terminally ill patients can choose to die with dignity. Nebraska is among the states where physician-assisted suicide is a very controversial subject since it is illegal in most states, but informing voters may help change the law. You, as voters, have the power to make assisted suicide legal. Next time that bill comes around, all you have to do is vote yes. If you or your loved one is ever faced with a terminal illness, you may want to have physician-assisted suicide as an option. I want you to think about that pet that I mentioned earlier. Now imagine that it may be your mom, your brother, your grandpa, sister, and how would you think about that? Physician-assisted suicide is a doctor prescribing lethal medicine to someone with a terminal illness that they can take by themselves without the assistance of anybody else, their doctor or another healthcare worker. I think that those who have a terminal illness and are in a great deal of pain should have the right to choose to end their lives, and those that help them should be free from prosecution. We don't let animals suffer, so why should we let humans, said Stephen Hawking. If we have the right to choose how we live, we should also be able to choose how we die. According to Morris, in an article dated September 12th of 2013, a Dutch study conducted showed that in 86% of cases, euthanization only shortened the terminally ill patient's life by a maximum of a week, but usually only a few hours. My coworker from Countryside Home in Madison, Chris, states that she agrees with physician-assisted suicide. She feels that it is like hospice, that we treat their pain instead of watching them suffer. She is all for it. By allowing people to choose their death, we will be allowing them to live out the rest of their life to their fullest potential, allowing them to have a good quality of life. CollinsDictionary.com defines quality of life as the general well-being of a person or society, defined in terms of health and happiness rather than their welfare. It can be a tough decision to help those suffering while you're committing a Class 4 felony. According to Mike Huckabee, Nebraska is one of 34 states where physician-assisted suicide is considered a criminal offense. In most states, it is against the law to help someone commit suicide. In those where the law is unclear, there are statutes that still render it a crime. In an article dated March 9th, 2015, Michael Olive states, also opposed to death with dignity laws are some, though not all, of those who practice hospice and palliative care, who worry that their efforts to improve their services will be politically damaged if they are associated with the far more inflammatory aid in the dying movement. If some hospices did a better job, then there wouldn't be as much interest in physician-assisted suicide. Palliative care is also known as a comfort care. It's to ease the pain of a dying person. Some people think that physician-assisted suicide would open the gateway for everyone with a terminal illness to utilize it, but that is why there needs to be there needs to be certain stipulations in place that people need to abide by. If physician-assisted suicide would be legal in Nebraska, a lot of people who are terminally ill could choose to end their suffering if they wanted to. In Nebraska, it is still considered a crime to assist with suicide. Although only a small fraction of those people will actually participate, but it would be good to be able to choose that option if they wanted to.
Do the water.
Informing voters with the right information about physician-assisted suicide will help get the law passed. An article written by Harticalis, dated February 3rd, 2015, a lawsuit filed in state Supreme Court in Manhattan contends that the law was intended to prevent someone, for instance, helping a lovesick teenager commit suicide, but not to stop a doctor from helping a mentally capable, competent, terminally ill patient die. In choosing to legalize assisted suicide, people will no longer have to choose between being punished like criminals for helping our loved ones to choose to die while they still have some quality of life left. A greater number of lethal medications are prescribed than those that are actually used. Some of the terminally ill patients may not choose to end their life, but just knowing that they have the option will give them peace of mind while they still have a good quality of life left. That is all I have for you. Thank you for listening.